protecting your power, the truth about energy and focus. Every single day, you wake up with a limited amount of energy, a divine deposit placed into your account by God Himself. You may not realize it, but that energy is sacred. It's not just physical strength. It's mental clarity, emotional balance, and spiritual alignment. And what you choose to do with that energy determines whether your day produces progress or pain, purpose or frustration. See, most people don't fail because they don't have enough energy. They fail because they keep giving their energy to the wrong things. They waste it on arguments that don't matter, people who don't care, and habits that don't serve their calling. When you understand that your energy is a form of spiritual currency, you stop spending it carelessly. Every complaint you make, every distraction you chase, every conversation that drains you, it's like swiping your spiritual credit card on something that gives no return. And then you wonder why you feel empty, unfulfilled, or stuck. You weren't designed to pour yourself into everything. You were designed to pour yourself into what God purposed for you. That's why you can't afford to waste your energy. Focus is the discipline of the spiritually mature. When you truly know who you are and where you're going, you become selective about where your energy goes. You realize that saying yes to one thing means saying no to 1,000 others. You understand that every no you give to distraction is a yes to your destiny. But when you don't protect your focus, life becomes cluttered with noise. You end up busy but not productive, active but not advancing, surrounded by people but disconnected from purpose. The reason so many people are exhausted is not because they're doing too much, it's because they're doing too much of the wrong things. They're investing energy into comparison, jealousy, gossip, fear, and doubt. They scroll through the highlights of other people's lives instead of building their own. They allow negativity to rent space in their mind without realizing that rent is being paid with peace, and peace is too expensive to lose for free. To change your life, you must first take inventory of your energy. Ask yourself, who drains me? What activities make me feel empty afterward? What thoughts rob me of strength? Once you identify the leaks, you can start patching them. You can start protecting your power by redirecting your energy toward what matters most, your faith, your mission, your growth, and your future. You don't have time to argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You don't have energy to entertain distractions when destiny is calling your name. Every moment you spend focused on what you can't control is a moment stolen from what you can create. Life rewards those who invest their energy with intention. When you decide that your energy belongs to your purpose, not your pain, something shifts. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop chasing validation and start cultivating vision. You stop explaining yourself to people who aren't qualified to understand you. You become a steward of your own focus, and that's when life begins to change. Think about it. A laser and a flashlight both use light, but only one can cut through steel. The difference isn't the light, it's the focus. Your potential is already powerful, but when you learn to concentrate that power in one direction, nothing can stand in your way. The reason success seems far away is not because you're not capable, it's because your energy is divided. You're fighting too many battles that don't belong to you. You're letting too many voices speak into your soul. It's time to narrow your focus. You need to decide right now that your purpose is too valuable to waste on trivial things. Every distraction, every unnecessary argument, every unproductive thought, it all costs you something. You have dreams to build, lives to impact, and a future to fulfill. But none of that happens if your energy is scattered. Protect your power, guard your focus, keep your heart and your mind aligned with where you're going. And when people say you've changed, remember you didn't change. You just started to value your energy. You started to understand that peace is more productive than chaos. You learned that silence is stronger than reaction. You realized that staying still in faith is better than running in circles out of fear. That's growth. That's maturity. That's focus. So stop wasting energy on proving yourself. Stop explaining your dreams to people who don't believe in themselves. Stop fighting battles that don't align with your purpose. You were not called to be everywhere, with everyone, doing everything. You were called to move with intention. You were called to focus your energy on what God has placed in your hands. Every great move of your life will require great focus. Every next level demands that you stop leaking energy into things that don't serve your future. So before you start your day, take a moment to reclaim your energy. Speak over yourself. My energy belongs to my purpose. My focus is my strength. My peace is my priority. And then go out and protect it. Because when you learn to stop wasting energy, You don't just get more done, you become unstoppable. You start to attract opportunities that match your focus. You begin to move in alignment with your destiny. And that's when life begins to unfold effortlessly. Everything starts to fall into place, not because life got easier, but because you got focused. The silent thief, how distractions destroy your destiny. Distractions are not just interruptions, they are assassins of destiny. They don't come with loud alarms or flashing lights. They come dressed as comfort, disguised as entertainment, sometimes even clothed in good intentions. The devil doesn't always destroy you with disaster. Sometimes he distracts you with comfort. He doesn't always send storms to sink you. Sometimes he sends noise to slow you. And if you don't learn how to recognize the difference between what's urgent and what's important, you'll live your whole life reacting to distractions instead of responding to destiny. Every minute you spend chasing meaningless distractions, you are trading destiny for dopamine. Every scroll, every argument, every hour lost to procrastination is an exchange. You are giving away pieces of your future to things that won't even matter a week from now. The truth is, success requires focus, and focus requires sacrifice. You cannot hold on to your distractions and expect to reach your destination. You can't expect God to multiply what you refuse to manage. The world today is engineered to fragment your attention. Your phone vibrates, your notifications ping, your mind drifts, and before you know it, your focus, the most powerful force you have, has been hijacked. You start your day with purpose, but by noon you've given your mind to everyone and everything except your dream. And then you wonder why your life feels stuck. It's because your energy is being spent surviving distractions instead of building your future. You see, distraction doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it looks busy. You can be busy all day doing good things and still miss the great thing you were called to do. You can fill your schedule and still empty your soul. Busyness is not the same as progress. A treadmill moves but never advances. A distracted life looks full but produces nothing lasting. If you're always in motion but never moving forward, it's time to stop and ask, what's stealing my attention? God gave you vision so you could move with direction. The enemy gives you distraction so you'll move in confusion. The moment you start focusing on your dream, distractions will multiply. That's how you know you're close to breakthrough. Resistance increases near destiny. Every distraction is a test. Will you choose temporary pleasure or permanent purpose? The ones who win in life are not the most talented, they are the most focused. They've learned the discipline of ignoring what doesn't matter. Imagine a farmer who keeps planting seeds but never tends to them because he's too busy looking at his neighbor's field. No matter how much potential he has, his field will die from neglect. That's what happens when you let distractions dominate your attention. Your ideas, your goals, your relationships, your faith, they all wither because your focus is scattered. Nothing grows in divided soil. The cure for distraction is direction. When you wake up each morning knowing where you're going, you don't have time to wander. You stop asking for motivation because your mission becomes your momentum. You stop looking for validation because your purpose validates itself. Focus simplifies your life. It eliminates confusion. It teaches you that not every opportunity is your assignment. Just because something is available doesn't mean it's aligned. To conquer distraction, you must first learn the power of silence. Silence is not weakness, it's strategy. It's the sound of someone who has learned that peace is more productive than noise. When you go silent, you disconnect from chaos and reconnect with clarity. You start hearing the whispers of wisdom that were drowned out by distraction. Most people can't hear God because they're tuned into everything else. But when you learn to withdraw from the noise, your vision sharpens, your creativity increases, and your confidence grows. Another key to defeating distraction is discipline. Discipline is not about punishment, it's about protection. You protect your time, your energy, your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Your future depends on the decisions you make daily. And every decision is either moving you closer to your destiny or further away. If you keep feeding your distractions will eventually eat your dream. You have to make a decision right now to separate yourself from what drains you. There are conversations that cost too much energy, relationships that require too much explaining, and habits that rob too much time. You can't grow while you're giving energy to everything that doesn't serve your purpose. God didn't design you to fit in everywhere. He designed you to stand out, and standing out requires focus. If you look at anyone who has achieved greatness, you'll find one thing in common: an obsessive commitment to focus. They learned to say no to almost everything so they could say yes to the one thing that mattered most. They sacrifice popularity for purpose, comfort for calling, distractions for destiny. That's not luck, that's discipline. So ask yourself today, what distractions are robbing your destiny? Is it social media, negative people, fear of missing out, or the addiction to instant gratification? Be honest, because you can't fix what you won't face. Once you identify the thief, you can guard the door. You can reclaim your time and protect your focus. Distraction is the enemy of greatness. It's not always loud or obvious. It's subtle, seductive, and easy to justify. But once you learn that your dream requires all of you, you'll stop giving parts of yourself to things that don't deserve you. You'll realize that your future is worth your full attention. And when you focus on your dream, your life starts moving in alignment. What once seemed impossible begins to unfold naturally. So stop wasting energy on the noise. Don't let distraction delay your destiny. Every minute you waste on the unnecessary is a minute stolen from the extraordinary. The power to focus is the power to build. Protect it, guard it, master it, because when you do, your dream will stop being a fantasy. It will become your reality. Discipline over distraction. Training your mind to stay focused. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack discipline. Discipline is the bridge between intentions and results. You can dream all day, plan all night, speak affirmations every morning, but without discipline, your dream will remain a fantasy. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about doing what you said you'd do long after the feeling you set it in has faded. Because feelings are temporary, but discipline builds forever. The mind is like a wild horse, full of power, but without discipline, that power runs wild in every direction. Discipline is what puts the reins back in your hands. It's what allows you to direct your energy towards something meaningful instead of scattering it across distractions. You cannot control everything in your environment, but you can control your response. And that control begins in your mind. Your mind is a battlefield. Every day, thoughts compete for your attention. Some are rooted in purpose, others in fear, laziness, or doubt. The disciplined person doesn't let every thought take root. They choose their focus intentionally. They understand that thoughts become actions, actions become habits, and habits shape destiny. If you don't discipline your mind will discipline you through regret, procrastination, and missed opportunities. Discipline is not glamorous. It's not loud or showy. It's built in quiet moments when nobody's watching, when it's not convenient, when it doesn't feel good. Discipline is saying no when excuses sound reasonable. It's getting up when the bed feels warm. It's staying focused when everyone else is distracted. It's turning off the noise so you can tune in to purpose. Many people pray for success but ignore the habits that build it. God doesn't bless laziness, He blesses consistency. Discipline is proof of your faith. It's saying, God, I believe in the vision. You gave me enough to act on it every day. Discipline honors the dream, because the dream without discipline is deception. You can't expect divine elevation while living in daily distraction. The most powerful thing you can do for your dream is to create structure. Your habits are the silent architects of your future. What you do daily determines what you become permanently. If you spend every morning scrolling instead of planning, comparing instead of creating, your future will reflect your distractions. But if you spend each morning focused, grounded, and disciplined, your results will reveal your commitment. Start with small disciplines. Wake up early. Spend 10 minutes in silence before the world wakes up. Write down your goals. Speak life over your dreams. Read something that builds you. Feed your faith and starve your fear. The goal is not to do everything at once. It's to master the small things that strengthen your focus. Because small disciplines practiced daily create massive transformation over time. Discipline also requires boundaries. You can't say yes to everything and expect peace. Protect your time like treasure, because it is. Learn to say no without apology. Every no to distraction is a yes to destiny. Don't explain your focus to people who are committed to mediocrity. They won't understand why you're not available for gossip, drama, or distraction. Let them talk. Your results will explain everything. The truth is, discipline is freedom disguised as restriction. Most people think discipline limits them, but in reality, it liberates them. When you live with discipline, you no longer live in chaos. You no longer wake up stressed, wondering what to do next. You move with clarity and intention. You stop chasing everything and start attracting what belongs to you. That's the power of a focused, disciplined life. You must also discipline your emotions. Not every emotion deserves expression. Anger, jealousy, comparison, they all drain energy meant for your purpose. Emotion is energy in motion, and when that energy is misdirected, it weakens your focus. The disciplined person doesn't react, they respond. They pause, breathe, and choose peace over pettiness. Because focus is not just about what you look at, it's about what you let move you. If you want to stay focused on your dreams, you must train your environment to support your discipline. Clean your space. Create systems that make focus easier. Surround yourself with people who push you higher, not those who keep you distracted. Energy is contagious. If you're surrounded by people who waste time, you'll start wasting yours too. But if you walk with focused minds, you'll rise naturally. Remember, discipline is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. You can't pour your energy into everything, you have to choose what deserves your full attention. That's why clarity is crucial, because once you know your purpose, distraction loses its power. You stop asking, should I? And start declaring, I must. There will be days when you feel tired, unmotivated, or uncertain. That's when discipline becomes your anchor. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. Motivation is a spark, discipline is the fire. And once that fire burns in your spirit, you no longer need reminders to keep going. The mission becomes automatic. The habits become part of who you are. You see, success doesn't come to those who wish, it comes to those who work. Discipline is the difference between potential and performance. The world is full of talented people who never fulfilled their purpose because they lacked consistency. Talent opens doors, but discipline keeps them open. You can't pray for abundance and live in distraction. You can't ask for elevation while avoiding the work. So train your mind daily. When your thoughts wander, bring them back. When your focus slips, reset. Every time you practice discipline, you strengthen your ability to control your energy. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every small victory compounds over time until your focus becomes unshakable. One day, people will look at you and call you lucky. They'll see the results, but never the discipline. They won't see the nights you stayed focused while others scrolled, the mornings you rose while others slept, the sacrifices you made when no one clapped. But you'll know the truth. It wasn't luck. It was focus. It was discipline. It was the decision to stop wasting energy and start building your dream. Because at the end of the day, your life reflects what you focus on most. If you focus on problems, you'll attract more problems. If you focus on progress, you'll attract growth. If you focus on purpose, you'll attract peace. The disciplined mind is a magnet for miracles, not because it's perfect, but because it's consistent. So stop waiting for the right time. Stop wasting energy on what doesn't matter. Train your mind to obey your purpose. Stay focused, stay faithful, stay disciplined, and you'll watch your dream transform from a vision in your heart to a victory in your hands. The power of silent growth. Let your results speak for you. There comes a moment in every person's journey when words are no longer enough. You've explained your vision, your plans, your goals, and yet people still don't see it. That's because most people can't see what God has placed inside you. They only recognize results, not preparation. They celebrate success, but ignore the silence that built it. And that's why you must learn the power of silent growth. Because silence is not weakness, it's strategy. It's not that you're hiding, it's that you're protecting what's sacred while it develops. When you're in the early stages of building your dream, you don't owe the world explanations. You don't need to announce every move. Every time you speak prematurely, you invite unnecessary noise. Not everyone who claps for you is for you. Some people only support you as long as you stay small. But when you grow, they grow distant. So grow quietly. Let them wonder how you did it. Let your transformation confuse those who underestimated you. There's a reason why seeds grow underground. Before a seed becomes a tree, it disappears beneath the soil. It endures pressure, darkness, and isolation. It doesn't shout, "Look at me growing." It simply grows. Because it knows that roots must come before results. That's how you build strength that storms can't destroy. Silent seasons are not punishment, they're preparation. That's when God is forming your foundation. He's teaching you discipline, endurance, humility, and focus. And when you emerge, you'll be too solid to be shaken. You see, silent growth is not about hiding forever. It's about understanding timing. Everything great develops in private before it shines in public. Jesus spent 30 years in obscurity for 3 years of public purpose. Don't rush your process. Your silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means everything necessary is happening. The roots are expanding. The vision is maturing. The soil of your character is being tested. And when the time comes, your results will speak louder than any announcement ever could. The mistake most people make is seeking validation too soon. They post every small move, every half-built plan, hoping for applause. But applause doesn't build discipline. Validation doesn't create growth. The more you rely on attention, the more you lose focus. Growth requires solitude. You can't hear divine direction if you're always performing for an audience. When you're focused on the crowd, you lose connection with the Creator. The most successful people you'll ever meet are not the loudest, they're the most consistent. They don't waste energy trying to convince anyone. They're too busy producing results. Because when your results show up, they silence every doubt, every critic, and every lie that was spoken against you. Results don't need defending. Results don't argue. Results speak truth in a language everyone understands achievement. When you work in silence, you conserve energy. You redirect every ounce of effort that would have gone into proving yourself into improving yourself. You stop reacting and start creating. You move from explaining your dream to embodying it. You start showing instead of telling. And that shift transforms everything because your actions gain credibility that words never could. Silent growth also protects your peace. The more people know your plans, the more opinions they'll give. And opinions are distractions disguised as advice. You don't need everyone's agreement to pursue your destiny. God didn't give them your vision, He gave it to you. Protect your peace like a crown. You can't hear divine instruction if your mind is filled with noise. Silence creates space for clarity. It's where revelation grows and direction becomes sharp. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in life come when you stop broadcasting and start building. Every time you choose focus over attention, you elevate your vibration. You stop needing recognition because you recognize your own value. You stop chasing applause and start chasing mastery. You realize that excellence will always attract what's meant for it, and that's why silent growth is powerful. It doesn't need hype. It's driven by faith, not fear. There will be times when people doubt you, mock you, or ignore you. Let them. Their doubt is not your problem. Don't waste your energy trying to convince anyone to believe in what you already know. God confirmed. The ones who laughed at your small beginnings will be silent when your results arrive. Because results speak with authority. They don't boast, they prove. They don't argue, they demonstrate. Remember this, silence is a shield. The enemy can't attack what he can't predict. The less you reveal, the more control you keep. The less you announce, the more you protect your momentum. It's not about secrecy, it's about wisdom. Because not every opportunity needs exposure, and not every blessing needs to be broadcasted. Some victories are meant to be shared only between you and God. Working in silence also builds humility. When you're not performing for attention, you stay grounded. You remember that everything you have is grace. Silent growth keeps your heart pure because you're not chasing fame, you're chasing purpose. And when purpose becomes your motivation, results become inevitable. You no longer care who notices. You're too focused on becoming the person God called you to be. It's easy to look around and feel like you're behind. Everyone seems to be shining, posting, celebrating, but understand most people show their highlights, not their process. Don't compare your private season to someone else's public moment. What you see as stillness is actually strengthening. You're being prepared for something greater, and that kind of preparation can't be rushed. Every time you choose silence over noise, focus over attention, and progress over praise, you align yourself with divine timing. You stop trying to force what God is still forming. You let the process unfold naturally, and when your moment comes, it won't be small, because God never does anything halfway. When He reveals what you've been working on in silence, it will be undeniable. The same people who overlooked you will have to acknowledge you, not because you shouted, but because you showed up prepared. And that's the beauty of silent growth. When your season of revelation arrives, no one can say it was luck. They'll see excellence, consistency, and grace. They'll see the fruit, but you'll remember the roots, the prayers, the nights of discipline, the moments of faith when nothing seemed to move. All of it built the person you've become. So keep building in silence. Keep refining your craft. Keep trusting God's timing. You don't need to explain where you're going. Just go. You don't need to announce every milestone. Just grow. Your results will speak. Your life will testify, and your silence will echo louder than any noise could, because true success doesn't shout, it shines. Faith, focus, and fulfillment, becoming unstoppable in purpose. Faith, focus, and fulfillment, these are not just words. They are the foundation of every unstoppable life. The moment you combine unwavering faith with relentless focus, fulfillment becomes inevitable. You were never created to live in confusion, chaos, or constant distraction. You were designed for divine direction. And that direction only becomes clear when faith anchors your vision and focus sharpens your path. That's how you rise from mediocrity to mastery. That's how you stop wasting energy on things that don't matter and start channeling it toward what truly does. Faith is not a feeling, it's a decision. It's choosing to believe in what you can't yet see because you trust who gave you the vision. It's walking forward when there's no evidence, speaking life when the situation looks dead, and acting as if the outcome is already finished because in the spiritual realm, it already is. Faith isn't passive, it's active. It builds, it moves, it speaks, and it creates. When you operate in faith, you step out of limitation and into divine alignment. You stop asking if you're qualified and start walking like you are chosen. But faith without focus is like fire without direction. It burns out quickly. Focus is the lens that magnifies your faith. It's what allows you to turn divine ideas into daily discipline. Every dream God gives you requires focus to bring it to life. Distraction is the enemy of destiny. You can't fulfill your purpose if your attention is scattered. Every time you allow gossip, comparison, or negativity to occupy your mind, you dilute your energy. And diluted energy can't create concentrated results. That's why focus is sacred. It's how you protect your power. When you learn to focus, your life starts to simplify. You stop chasing 100 things and start mastering one. You realize that excellence is not doing more. It's doing what matters most with precision. And when you do that consistently, the results multiply. Focus doesn't make life easier. It makes it clearer. It separates the urgent from the important, the temporary from the eternal, and the distractions from destiny. Every moment spent on nonsense is a moment stolen from greatness. So ask yourself daily, is what I'm doing right now feeding my future or draining my potential? Faith gives you courage. Focus gives you direction. But together, they lead to fulfillment, that deep sense of purpose that no achievement can replace. Fulfillment is not about wealth, fame, or validation. It's about living in harmony with your assignment. It's when what you do matches who you are and why you were created. That's where peace lives. You can't buy it, you can't fake it, and you can't borrow it. You earn it by aligning your life with purpose. Fulfillment is not found in chasing outcomes, but in becoming the person capable of sustaining them. To live a life of faith, focus, and fulfillment, you must first master self-governance. You can't lead a company, a family, or a movement if you can't lead yourself. Self-control is not suppression, it's power under discipline. It's choosing peace when chaos calls your name. It's refusing to let emotions dictate decisions. The most powerful people are not the loudest, they're the calmest. Because calmness comes from confidence, and confidence comes from clarity. And clarity is born out of faith and focus working together. Every distraction has a spiritual purpose to delay your destiny. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you if he can just distract you. If he can keep your energy tied up in meaningless arguments, self-doubt, or fear, you'll never step into the full measure of your calling. That's why guarding your focus is a daily discipline. Protect your mind like a vault. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not every opportunity deserves your yes. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is saying no to good so you can say yes to great. Faith will test you. It will stretch you beyond comfort. There will be moments when you feel like giving up because nothing seems to be working. But that's when faith is doing its deepest work. Faith doesn't grow in ease, it grows in pressure. Every delay, every disappointment, every detour is shaping you into someone capable of carrying the blessing. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. Don't despise the waiting season. The longer the preparation, the greater the purpose. Focus requires faith because sometimes the path will look lonely. You'll have to walk away from people who don't align with your vision. You'll have to stay disciplined while others are distracted. You'll have to work in silence while others seek attention. But that's the price of destiny. Everyone wants greatness, but few are willing to endure the grind that produces it. Faith gives you strength in solitude, and focus gives you progress in the process. Together, they make you unstoppable. Fulfillment isn't about reaching the top. It's about becoming who you were meant to be along the way. Every challenge you overcome, every temptation you resist, every small step you take in faith builds your character. And character is the foundation of fulfillment. The more you grow internally, the more peace you experience externally. You stop needing applause because you already feel approved. You stop competing because you're content in your calling. You stop performing and start living purposefully. That's the true definition of fulfillment: peace within, progress without. There's a divine rhythm to success. Faith activates, focus organizes, and fulfillment manifests. Faith says, I can. Focus says, here's how. Fulfillment says, I'm living it. When all three align, life begins to flow. You stop forcing outcomes and start attracting them. You stop chasing success and start embodying it. That's when doors open effortlessly because your energy matches your purpose. And when your energy aligns with divine will, nothing can stop your growth. To reach this level, you must eliminate energy leaks. Stop arguing with people who don't share your vision. Stop explaining your calling to those who can't comprehend it. Stop trying to prove your worth to those blind to your value. Every moment you spend defending your greatness is a moment stolen from your destiny. Protect your energy. Redirect it toward your dream. The right people will recognize your value without explanation. The wrong ones won't believe it even if you prove it. Faith, focus, and fulfillment make you unstoppable, not because you become perfect, but because you become purposeful. You no longer live reactively, you live intentionally. Every action serves your mission. Every decision honors your vision. You move with confidence, not because you know the outcome, but because you trust the process. You've learned that faith doesn't eliminate challenges. It empowers you to conquer them. Focus doesn't remove distractions. It trains your eyes to ignore them. And fulfillment doesn't mean the journey is easy. It means it's meaningful. So keep walking in faith. Keep sharpening your focus. Keep pursuing fulfillment, not attention. Let your purpose guide you and your peace protect you. Because when your faith is strong, your focus unbreakable, and your fulfillment aligned with divine purpose, you become unstoppable. You stop wasting energy and start living in power. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. And when you do, your dreams don't just come true, they multiply. Because purpose-driven energy never runs out, it expands. That is the power of faith, focus, and fulfillment, the sacred trio that turns ordinary people into extraordinary vessels of destiny. Keep them alive. And you'll not only change your life, you'll inspire others to change theirs.